What's up, guys? Welcome back to All the Things Harry Potter, the alcohol-fueled reread of the Harry Potter series. I'm Jade.
I'm Nate.
I'm Shantell.
And I'm Jay.
We are on Chapter 10, the Rogue Bludger.
I think there's a fucking lot in it.
Quite a few things stood out to me. It was pretty funny. I liked it.
Yeah, I got a couple jokes for you guys.
Ooh, yay.
What? James has jokes? No. Well, we don't really have any news for you guys today, but we do have something else. Today actually happens to be Thank You Patrons Day. And I know we have a couple, and we are super, super thankful to have you guys along for the ride. But we also wanted to say thank you to the rest of you who are listening. Those of you who write in and those of you who do not, we still see you, and we are still thankful that you're listening.
Thank you!
Thank you.
Keep on listening.
All right, let's get into this chapter.
Okay, so ever since the Pixie incident, Lockhart has stopped bringing live animals to class and instead recreates scenes from his books using the students. And I guess in this case, it's mainly Harry.
How traumatically embarrassing is this? That's all I thought about reading this part, was how traumatically embarrassing it must be to get called to the front of the class every day.
Right, and then to act like an idiot. Today, Harry is pretending to be a werewolf.
Ow.
Everyone is listening to an outrageously embellished story from Lockhart. It kind of reminded me of the two security guards from Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny. When they're talking in that room, he's like, and I had the one guy and I elbowed him like that.
Oh, yeah.
and then they're just both bleeding from the face. And I was like, get out of here, bad guys. And I saved the day. Lockhart's telling one of those stories.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, sure you did, pal. Podcast foul.
This did make me think of real life for a little bit, because my son Ryan loves to pretend to be a werewolf. He howls. He runs around without a shirt on. He says he likes red meat. He thinks he's a werewolf.
Well, I can't blame him on the red meat thing. We have that in common.
Phone's off, sorry.
I was going to make a comment about him biting people.
He was not the biter. CJ was.
CJ thinks he's a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a different thing.
They both are
Yeah, it's
bitey
like...
things, though.
Yes.
After class, Hermione gets Lockhart to sign for the restricted book by telling him it'll help her understand one of his other books and catering to his celebrity or his need for celebrity. And Ron makes a comment about it here in a second, but he doesn't even fucking look. He's just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll sign my name.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was funny that this is the thick teacher we're going to use to get this fucking paper signed.
Yeah. It wasn't even a thought. They knew exactly who they were going after.
Right. And Hermione doesn't agree with that at all.
I also think that she may have overthought her plot and her excuse of why she was getting it done. I think if they put a piece of paper in front of him, he would have signed it regardless to what was on it.
Right, like an automatic response. Here, sign that. And he just reaches over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Hermione is still a little bit enamored with Lockhart, because I feel like that's why it was so easy for her to, like, fall into that conversation with him and fawn over him a little bit.
Well, and she hasn't really gotten a chance to either. Every time she's been in a class with Harry, Lockhart's been picking on Harry and not her.
Right.
So she hasn't gotten any teacher attention, which we know she so desperately craves.
Oh, I wonder if she's, like, super jelly.
But so he signs away the book, and Lockhart then reminds Harry of his game coming up tomorrow. Then he goes into another one of his stories. You know, I used to be a seeker too. And I got the feeling that he was saying, yeah, you know, I could have gone pro. But I decided to become a teacher, and it kind of reminded me of the old adage, those who can't do, teach.
Right.
So.
I don't think he can do or teach.
Right?
Just saying. Just saying.
He's not very good at either. He offers to give Harry a private lesson because, you know, he just loves helping less able players. And Harry's like, fuck you, bud. I don't need that. They take off with their permission slip to the library to go get the book they so desperately need.
And she doesn't want to give the slip to the librarian. I reread that part.
Got a little man crush.
Yeah. I reread that part because at first I thought that the librarian didn't want to give it back to Hermione, which I was like, oh yeah, like the lady's digging on the teacher. Fine. Then I realized that it was Hermione not wanting to give it to the librarian, and then that made it even more funny.
Yeah, because she still is, like, swooning.
Yeah.
I kind of pictured this like Hermione didn't let go, but neither did the librarian. She felt Hermione just hold on to it instead of letting go, like, oh, maybe she wasn't handing it to me. They both just held on and were like, this is mine now.
Do you think there could have been a brawl?
Oh, I think so, for sure. I was just going to say, she's already set a teacher on fire, so assaulting one in this manner isn't nearly as bad.
No,
she's totally capable.
I love that Ron is like, dude, we'll get something else signed. He'll sign fucking anything.
Which
Right.
is exactly how they got the book.
No, she's turning into Little Miss Rulebreaker.
And loving it.
Madam Pince inspects their note, making sure it's not a forgery, and then she gets them the book, even though she's pretty suspicious still. And they end up heading up to the girls' bathroom, and Ron's like, this is not cool.
Well, he already got busted in there once. He doesn't want to go back.
No one likes moaning Myrtle, though.
Yeah. Just kind of a downer.
Yeah, it was weird how they said she was in there crying and they were all just kind of ignoring each other. You know, like she's over there just sobbing her eyes out. We're going to pretend we don't hear her. And she's over there pretending like we're not in here. And she's just going about her business. And it's really fucking weird. I wouldn't last 10 seconds in that environment. I'd be like, all right,
shut up?
right, be quiet or I'm leaving. And that's that. Not dealing with this voluntarily.
I don't even know how you would handle a ghost like that.
You call Ghostbusters.
But Hermione reminds Ron that it's the only place that they're going to get any privacy. And like we were all just talking about, nobody's trying to knock the door down in that place, you know? So they can do what they need to do.
Come to find out, it takes a whole month to brew the polyjuice, all of the different ingredients and stuff that they need. Pretty crazy. And the one that stuck out to me was a part of somebody, the person that you're supposed to become. Like, so what happens if you get, you know, a hair off of their head? You become them. What if you get, like, a pube off of their leg? Do you become a ball sack for the day?
No, I think you're still that person. You just have to... I mean, hair is kind of gross to begin with, but, you know, pube hair, you don't want to touch that.
You don't want to ingest that.
Right.
No.
Or maybe you look like a normal, but you have a little bit of a smell. But that's not the only gross thing or the only gross possibility. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this book that it says the second you look at it, you can tell it was in the restricted section for a reason.
Yeah.
And it shows a bunch of illustrations of people like halfway between transforming, but it also has illustrations of like dudes who get flipped inside out. What?
That's why you're supposed to flip your wand to the left and not the right.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck that up.
Yeah, I would have noped right out of that situation.
And Hermione says, this is one of the most complicated potions I've ever seen. The first thing that stuck out to me was that she's a second year, so probably not a whole lot.
Yeah, I was trying to think about the potions she'd seen too, and they've all been, like, written on a blackboard.
Right. If you're a teacher with tenure, then maybe. If you said, hey, this is pretty complicated, then it's probably pretty fucking complicated. But a second year being like, this is tough, guys. Could be 5 times 5 when you're in kindergarten. Seems impossible, but for somebody a little bit more experienced, simple.
Yeah, but you can also see, like, the smart ass of the group being like, hey guys, this is really tough shit, you know?
Right.
I wonder if she's thinking that it's a complicated potion to make, or if it's going to be hard to get some of the things that they need. They're not just ready for all the students. Some of them are, but not everything.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. Hermione seems down with stealing some of these essential ingredients.
Yeah, it's weird that Hermione is so ready to steal, and Harry is the one who's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't. When normally Harry's the one fucking breaking into the teacher's lounge, and Hermione's always the one yelling at him and telling him to knock it off.
They're gonna get killed, or worse, expelled.
Right.
Priorities.
Like walking on the wild side now.
I think she's gotten a taste for it.
This really is a personal fight for Hermione already at this point. She's like, if you don't feel like doing this, it's fine, but I think this is better than attacking Muggleborns. But whatever, we can bring the book back right now if you disagree.
Yeah, if you don't feel that way, then let's just call it quits. Kind of asking/demanding her friends side with her on this and be okay with what she's about to do, because it really means something to her.
Right. Activist level.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like racism and sexism. She's being attacked for something that she can't change about herself.
I love how Ron chimes in with his alternative, telling Harry if he just knocks Malfoy off his broom at tomorrow's game, then this solves all their problems. This is a very non-complicated process there. I felt like that could have been a win.
Right. He's like, well, we just knock the bastard out. Then he won't be causing a problem, will he? Which is typical Ron.
Yeah.
Even though he says he's down to do Hermione's plan, as long as it does not involve toenails.
Which, again, can't blame the man.
No.
The day of the game, not a great day to start Quidditch, looking like it's going to rain and thunderstorm everywhere. They all meet up inside the locker room for a minute, and Oliver starts explaining how you guys don't need to worry, even though that the Slytherin team has faster brooms than us. We've trained harder and longer in all sorts of weather and things like that. Listening to him talk about how they're worried that they have faster brooms and all of that. Harry's got some money. Nobody knows that. Kind of afraid to flaunt it, I guess, it seems like. Who's stopping him from delivering an anonymous package? Get his homeboy a new wand, get everybody a faster broom, and tell Slytherin to fuck off.
I can see Harry showing up to practice and being like, what, you guys didn't go out and buy the 2001?
Yeah,
I totally
or just
did that.
himself at that, you know?
It doesn't occur to Harry a few times now in the series to help anybody out with his money. Like, Ron's wand is apparently still busted ass, even worse than it was to begin with. And he hasn't offered to fix that at all.
And to our knowledge, it's all up to Harry, and it's all just on his whim. But
yeah, he doesn't have to by any means.
no, I just mean he has the choices with his money as far as we know, but maybe Hagrid has a say?
I also ponder, I don't really ponder this, I don't think he thought about it at all, but he might get some shit if it came down to it, the way Malfoy did, getting that whole, Slytherin's whole team.
Anonymous. No one knows who gave Harry the coolest broom in the world last year.
Yeah, they did. Everybody knew. I knew.
They weren't supposed to.
I read it. I knew.
That was the plan.
If I knew that McGonagall did that for a kid in my class, I would hate that bitch.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't give a shit how many Quidditch Cups we need to win. Buy me a new backpack.
Speaking of a little rat-faced Malfoy, he comes strolling in.
I thought it was kind of funny that Wood was like, hey, we have a better team, we trained harder, we trained more, we trained in all sorts of weather, and it's going to be a team effort, and we're going to beat them as a team. That being said, Harry, it's all on you, buddy. Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck it up, okay?
Just so you know.
Well, because, like, literally, they'd have to get 200 points if Harry doesn't catch the snitch, at least.
Right. So they go out onto the field. It's a field now. It's not a pitch, and field is easier for me to say. They go out onto the field, and Wood and Flint shake hands.
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm immature, I know. Anyway.
And they give threatening stares to each other, and they squeeze each other's hands, and, you know, they're being alphas. They're the captains, so it's probably warranted. And then they each go to their own positions. And Madam Hooch, who is now the Quidditch teacher and not the flying instructor. Did you guys pick up on that?
No, I didn't pay attention to that.